So back with the next step of Vocal Mix Express 101. We're going to be jumping into bussing, send chains. What the heck is a bus? A really useful tool. It allows for you to add effects into all of your tracks within an entire mix. Like let's say you have a bunch of different vocals, you have a bunch of instrumentals, and you want them to sound cohesive. You want them to sound like they're gelling, like they're in one room. Then that allows you to send all of them over to one separate track or bus them over to one other track, send track, all be uniform. So it's really good for things like, you know, reverb, delay, any kind of effects that you want to send over. And then another reason we like to do it is because it saves your computer from having to process all of the various reverbs on every single track. So you just have them on one, and then you have all those various tracks running into that one. We're gonna go ahead and listen to what we got. We got the main vocal.
Resonance will crack the cast the copy molding.
But what we're gonna do is we're gonna just come right down here, and you're gonna set bus, and we're gonna go to aux 1. Sometimes it's helpful to name them. So I'm just gonna name this one Verb, because we're gonna set up with Verb. It's actually already set up, but I'll show you how I did that. And I'm just gonna go in and say, hey, Reverb, throw in this Space Designer. That's one of my favorite. I like to just run with the default. We'll keep it minimal. And then I also like to throw on an EQ. And you can test this out, but rather before or after, I'm gonna actually move this one above. I like to set up my chains as such. That will allow you to kind of take away or cut out some of that low end. You know, that's where your mud ends up forming a lot of the time. We can actually even go higher with this. And you can adjust this accordingly based on every different vocal, making sure that it's running through an EQ process before it runs into the reverb. That's basically gonna cut out any of your problem areas. You could do the same on the high end. And I do that track by track. Sometimes I carve out a bit more on the high end, sometimes I don't. We've got that set up. We're just going to slowly start introducing, just like we do with other parameters. We're going to introduce it, and then we're going to pull it back so that it sounds like, you know, a nice little healthy medium.
Resonance will crack the cast the copy molding. Lower vibes, your way of sub, cheesy and baloney. Ripping filters off, zigzagging, smoke them like a rollie. Words I speak marry the beat, holy matrimony.
I kind of like around that -15, -16 zone. Sometimes I go lower, sometimes I go higher, but in this particular song, given the instruments, given the context of everything else going on, I like the way that reverb sounds. So let's listen back one more time.
Resonance will crack the cast the copy molding. Lower vibes, your way of sub, cheesy and baloney.
So you notice, like, we have a considerable amount of reverb on there, but it's not conflicting with a lot of everything else going on in the track and everything going on in the mix. And that's because we attenuated or carved away on that low end, which gave more room to breathe with everything else going on. Let's go ahead and set up another type of bus. This one's going to be for some delay effects. And I'm actually just gonna copy, if you hit Option Command, will actually just allow you to copy any and all of these. Knowing hotkeys is very helpful. My instructor in junior college told me, he's like, if you know how to hit the hotkeys, then it's gonna make you dangerous. Let's go ahead and copy over that same EQ. So we're making sure we're kind of carving out that low end. And then instead of reverb, we're gonna do delay on this one. I'm just gonna use Delay Designer. And I'm gonna go into one of my personal favorites, which is, I like these sweeping vibes. I'm gonna do a faster one. So we're gonna go with 1/8 time. Second one, I'm just gonna call it delay. Now we've already got number 2. Remember, you can just go there, bus, you can select it's already there. So we're just gonna go in and same thing. We're gonna add it in until it's sounding like too much and then pull off of it.
Resonance will crack the cast the copy molding. Lower vibes, your way of sub, cheesy and baloney. Ripping filters off, zigzagging, smoke them like a rollie. Words I speak marry the beat, holy matrimony. Praise.
So I'm leaving that really light, and that's just my personal taste on this given track. I like it real light, kind of giving the effect. Delay is essentially delaying the signal, but it's an echo effect in a traditional sense. We're gonna go ahead and bring it back in for a couple more modules from here, just to kind of wrap things up and give a little bit more philosophy on the mindset side of things. And I'll show you how to bring up a quick and easy master. It's nothing that's in depth, but it'll get your track sounding louder and competing, whether you're releasing on SoundCloud or you're putting your stuff out on streaming platforms. It'll compete relatively well. We're going to jump back in on the next module with slope analysis, and then I'll show you how to set up just the basic adaptive limiter. We'll even put a quick meter in there so you can kind of get a figure and an idea of where to push your levels, but not pushing them too far, but not keeping them so low that, you know, your stuff isn't going to translate on different systems. See you over there.
Want to get even more out of your mixing journey? Discover tailored mentorship, proven plug-and-play presets, and build mindset for continual growth long after our sessions. Book your free call today and elevate your sound with Vocal Mix Express.